The story begins when Lu Shu and Lu Xiaoyu go out for a walk. There they enjoy a meal and a show. Blocked by the audience, they barged in so they could see it clearly. At the same time, the necklace that Lu Shu was wearing suddenly reacted. However, Lu Shu didn't notice it. He just focused on the show because it looked awesome. Apart from breaking through the audience, Lu Xiaoyu also took him backstage. Hoping to learn attraction techniques like them, Lu Shu said, "There's no way they would want to teach us, but just looking at it might be fine." When they arrived backstage, they saw a dangerous situation. Therefore, they immediately left with the excuse of wanting to go to the toilet. Lu Shu thought that it was possible that the person who performed the fire trick used superpowers, so they would be caught by the superpower user hunters. When they got home, Lu Shu would make some food. However, it didn't happen because Lu Xiaoyu wanted to cook noodles. Since the noodles were out of stock, Lu Shu had to buy them first. Due to not paying attention to the road, he had a traffic accident. Lu Shu was seriously injured and couldn't possibly be saved. That's when a miracle happened. The walnuts he had been using turned out to be able to heal all his wounds and save his life. In addition to saving his life, he also awakened a very powerful superpower. He can get power from someone's negative emotions so that the more people who are afraid or annoyed with him, he will get points. Then those points can be exchanged for power and random things. After that, while they were eating noodles, a fire broke out at the supermarket. Then when Lu Shu went to check on him, he ran into several men wearing black clothes. It seemed they were after the person who had caused the fire. Then when he got home, suddenly there was a man lying in his yard. The man had the power to control fire, so he was most likely the cause of the fire. Pretending to be unconscious, Lu Shu tried to prank him with various things so as to irritate the man. Unable to contain his anger, the man used his power to burn Lu Shu. But his attempt was unsuccessful because Lu Shu had already used his ability to ward off him. Even though his power was very useful, it seemed that he couldn't show it to other people. Even his brother didn't believe that Lu Shu had already experienced a resurgence. In order to pay for school fees, Lu Shu was able to make his own money. He sold eggs on the roadside. Because of his difficult condition, most people don't want to get involved with him. As a result, he became a solitary student and had no friends. Even though the situation was quite difficult, Lu Shu enjoyed his school life. He felt it was more advantageous to be able to utilize them to increase his strength. The phenomenon of awakening is already happening everywhere. Schools have also become an unsafe place because there are students who go berserk after awakening powers. Lu Shu took advantage of the chaos to generate negative points. He fooled his teachers and friends to make them feel upset. Then when Lu Shu returned home, Lu Xiaoyu was having a high fever. Fortunately, Lu Shu has a special ability. He can cure Lu Xiaoyu by giving the fruit obtained from the negative point. Because there are already many students awakening the power, the government will set up special classes for students who have experienced awakening. After his blood sample was taken, Lu Shu became one of the students who transferred to a special class. Shortly after the special class was established, they had a new student named Jiang Shui. In addition to his appearance looking conspicuous, the new student also has broad abilities, especially about superpowers. He became the subject of discussion because he suddenly had high qualifications, while Lu Shu became the opposite of him. In addition to his boring appearance, he was also judged weak because he had low qualifications. Actually, Lu Shu's qualifications are not that low. There is a certain reason why he didn't show the truth. I don't know what a stir there will be if the real ability can be revealed. When Lu Shu was resting, he used his negative points to improve strength. However, this time he didn't get something he wanted. Lu Shu instead got a lot of cuisine and a map that exuded a black aura. The map instantly reacted to Lu Xiaoyu's body. Then Lu Xiaoyu said that the map had already made herself experience a resurgence, so she didn't need to respond excessively to it. In the next day, Lu Shu sold all the dishes he had obtained from the power system. It turns out that he can get more profit than selling eggs. With this, then for a while he doesn't have to worry about his financial condition. After earning a lot of income, Lu Shu became more likely to irritate others. Then when the negative points have been accumulated, he can reach the 7-star layer to learn swordsmanship. As time passed, Lu Shu was proficient in using swords. He received a fairly good practice from his teacher named Lai Xiane. According to the teacher, Lu Shu has above average abilities. He felt wonder why Lu Shu was placed in the lowest qualification. Therefore, after the practice, Lu Shu was ordered to retest his strength level. Lai Xiane wanted to know what kind of qualifications he had. Then when Lu Shu and Lu Xiaoyu did a trial, They were both at the highest level, and it even seemed that Lu Shu had higher qualifications. Although he has a high level, Lu Shu still intends to keep his ranking secret. He lied to his teacher by saying that he was still at the lowest rank. After listening to his words, the teacher looked upset while Lu Shu looked happy because he got a negative point. Shortly after Lu Shu entered the second part of the nebula star, he gained the ability to survive, not to receive injuries. Meanwhile, Lu Xiaoyu seemed to be trapped in the dark. However, Lu Xiaoyu gained quite an amazing ability. She can take out a black hole to resurrect living things that have died, even more so that she can control it without any restrictions. Lu Shu and Lu Xiaoyu also conducted various experiments. It turned out that Lu Xiaoyu could raise any animal as she pleased. If it is used with careful preparation, it is possible that she can use her power to awaken humans. In different places, there is a fight between power users. There, the Heavenly Network side is fighting a group of villains who have experienced a resurrection. Those criminals can't be left alone. They are very dangerous because they are not reluctant to kill anyone who dares to hinder them. Lu Shu and Lu Xiaoyu looked at their fight from a distance. Because it was very dangerous, Lu Shu ordered his sister to go back and wait for her at home. With this, Lu Shu could be more free to act. However, his behavior was too suspicious, resulting in him being involved in the fight. Lu Shu did not commit a crime, but had to deal with the Heavenly Network because it was considered to have a relationship with the villain. Fortunately, he has abilities superior to them. Then when the Heavenly member was defeated, Lu Shu became the only person who could survive. He also successfully coped with the villain alone without others knowing. Not after that, Lu Shu took Lu Xiaoyu to continue the experiment. They both intend to resurrect the corpse of the killer involved in the fight. When arrived at the scene, Lu Xiaoyu could feel the newly dead people around her. However, because her strength was insufficient, she still couldn't resurrect him. It took her a day to gather star power. Even so, they both looked happy. After getting a big catch, Lu Shu and Lu Xiaoyu went to eat the promised night snacks. The next day, Lu Xiaoyu can resurrect the dead villain. She immediately took the opportunity to give Lu Shu a surprise. When she showed it, Lu Shu said that what she did was not to give a surprise, but instead made him startled and frightened. When you look closely, it turns out that she can really resurrect the bodies of the dead. She can control her power until she can read the person's memory before he dies. When Lu Xiaoyu read his memory, she could see his memory while committing the robbery. Therefore, Lu Xiaoyu intends to take the money he hides. Lu Shu naturally didn't allow it. They couldn't do it because the money came from robbery. Lu Shu advised her to earn money through the right way. When he was in school, as usual, Lu Shu didn't get along with other students. He is only familiar with the new student named Jiang Shuyi. Lu Shu was comfortable with the conditions. He doesn't need to think about problems, especially in people who bore him. Even better, he could be the farthest away from them. Lu Shu asked Jiang Shuyi about the fugitive who died last night. Jiang Shuyi said that recently some scientists explained that part of the energy expended can be detected. This led to strange changes around the world, such as the occurrence of a massive awakening. They called it the recovery of spiritual energy. This has resulted in powerful groups such as the Heavenly Network gaining power. They are becoming more influential in education to maintain and train students who are already awakening strength. In order to improve the strength of the students, the Heavenly Network led the students towards the ruins. According to rumors, the ruins are places left by alien civilizations on the Earth. The place appeared suddenly after a major change in the world. Inside the ruins are all kinds of magic weapons and something most precious called the Eye of Formation. They must get it to get out of there. Otherwise, they will never be able to get out of the ruins. Before the rehearsal started, all the students were given dinner. Then after finishing dinner, Lu Shu began to pester others to get his negative emotions. With this, then he doesn't need to practice like everything else. As for improving strength, he only needs to wear negative emotions from them. Every night, Lu Shu always pestered the class leader who was practicing. Then when the class leader finished his practice, he was looking for Lu Shu to challenge him in a fight. However, because the teacher forbade fighting, in the end Lu Shu and the class leader had a panko fight. When the panko fight, Lu Shu can easily become the winner. He made the victory the reason for his rise in strength. Shortly after, the portal connected to the ruins suddenly opened. Everyone is trying to save themselves from getting into it. Meanwhile, Lu Shu, who was in the back row, did not have time to escape. He was dragged into the ruins and then confronted the corpses. Shortly after the gate opened, there were already many casualties falling. When Lu Shu faced a batch of undead, other students just looked at it and couldn't do anything. Later, when it was night, Lu Shu met a stranger who was not from the Heavenly Network. He is a spy from a foreign country that Jiang Shuyi has mentioned. Therefore, Lu Shu intends to do a prank to irritate him. If it was really that person was a spy, Lu Shu would not let him be able to escape. As a result, Lu Shu was able to get a lot of negative points in just a night. Later in the morning, the spy could no longer restrain his anger. He directly attacked Lu Shu so that a fight could not be avoided. At first glance, their fighting ability looks evenly matched, but it turns out that the spy has difficulty dealing with it. When using his sword technique, Lu Shu could directly kill his opponent. Killing is not what he wants, but the road of cultivation is destined to be so. Therefore, he will still step forward to get out of the venue. Then after circling the territory of the ruins, Lu Shu confronted the wolves. Because there were too many of them, he decided to escape from the wolf. Lu Shu had been running for quite a long time, but not the slightest feeling exhausted. Instead, he felt that if his body became fitter. After escaping the pursuit of the wolf, he met the previous student who was in distress again. Again, Lu Shu didn't intend to help them. He pranked them many times to be upset. After resting, Lu Shu again continued on the road to complete the ruins. He wanted to get out of the place immediately because he was already worried about Lu Xiaoyu. Shortly after he faced the zombie troops, the troops of the Heavenly Network intended to finish off those zombies. Because one of the zombies didn't have a spear, they mistaken him for the leader. The zombie is not the leader. He doesn't have a spear because it has been snatched by Lu Shu. As a result of the mistake, they did not succeed in eradicating it. Fortunately, Lu Shu returned to action. He deliberately came to attack them just to grab the gun. The moment Lu Shu came out of his hiding place, he was suddenly surrounded by a troop of zombies. By using all the weapons he collected, all the zombie troops were defeated. Meanwhile, Lu Xiaoyu, who was at home, was tired of waiting for her brother to come home. Then she found a hidden box, a box containing potato chips and a note left behind so that she would not eat it. As for Lu Shu, who is still trapped in the ruins, can get a lot of points in a short time. He used that point to increase his star point. Then when the troop of zombies gathered, Lu Shu suddenly came over and eradicated them. Then a group of people who saw him immediately helped him. Even without the help of them, Lu Shu was already strong enough to eradicate everything alone. He didn't give them a chance to join in fighting the zombie troops. With the defeat of the zombie troops, Lu Shu could have all his weapons and equipment. Then he will sell it to those in need. Because no one brought money, he allowed to exchange it for valuable objects. But he gave good things to those who fought only. As for people who are not involved in the fight, they will only get bad things. That's how Lu Shu benefited from inside the ruins. All the surviving people moved back in the ruined area. Most of them have already run out of food and drink. Therefore, Lu Shu gave the remaining fruits that belonged to him to those who were exhausted. The fruit he gave it turned out to have an amazing effect. Besides being able to relieve thirst and hunger, it can also relieve fatigue and restore energy. Lu Shu and the others had entered the center of the ruins, where he again offered his weapons to sell to the people. At the same time, Lu Shu got a meeting invitation from the teachers and the Heavenly Network. Not only Lu Shu, there was a female student named Cao Kingsai who was also invited by them. It seems that the Heavenly Network has already recognized its greatness. They need her strength in case of unforeseen situations. At the moment when everyone was resting, the group of undercover spies began to carry out their actions. They entered the core of the ruins silently. Lu Shu, who was aware of his movements, immediately stopped them. He held one of them back for questioning. However, the master of the Heavenly Network even directly finished him off. Nor did he intend to stop the spies who were already below. Lu Shu and the others began to enter the lower area. They went downstairs with artificial stairs already prepared by someone's strength. Just at the bottom of the lower area, they saw the dead spies on the spot. Then suddenly, when it was at the end of the road, there was a swarm about to attack. Before they attacked them, Lai Yixao used the power of fire to eradicate the one in front of him. The others also looked okay. They could handle the situation because the opponent was not very lethal. Lu Shu had already prepared himself to fight, but all his enemies did not dare to approach him because they could feel Lu Shu's true strength. After all the enemies were defeated, a large army of undead appeared, among which there were also those who were seen carrying the eyes of the formation. Lai Yixao faced off one-on-one against the most powerful enemy, while the others focus on fighting against the zombie troop. Lu Shu was almost hit by an arrow attack, but Cao Kingsai protected him and then attacked the opponent without hesitation. Because Lu Shu was ignored by his enemy, he decided to go to the opponent's base. Lu Shu hopes to get valuables. When Lu Shu entered the enemy base, no one could stop him. Because all the troops are fighting, there is only a statue of the guard guarding the base. It seems that the reason Lu Shu was feared was because of having a terrible sword. On the other hand, The fight between the Heavenly Network and the zombie troop is getting more and more heated. Their leader fought all out to seize the eyes of the formation. But the object brought by his enemy was not the eye of the formation. The real eyes of the formation are in different places. Kao King-Sai's sword ability is indeed beyond doubt. With that ability, she can eradicate a swarm of enemies in a short time. Meanwhile, Lu Shu, who was in a room, suddenly faced the enemy's leader. He accidentally found the formation eye of the place. With this, the ruins can be completed and everyone can get out of the place. What do you think about the anime we discussed? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel by activating the bell to receive notifications for the next video here on the anime storyline. Thank you.